List.io.
Follow that voice inside my soul. That compass tells me where to.
All right, welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. A little something different today, Billy.
I kind of like it. It's kind of catchy. I'm guessing we won't be able to hang on to that for very long.
No, maybe a day. We got 2 letters from the last one, so again, not monetizing, but also not looking for trouble. So
Yeah, I don't get it. Whatever.
I know, like anything makes sense. How's your day going today?
Well, it's quite the whirlwind today. A lot of stuff
Yeah.
coming at us, just really from everywhere, from the world of sports with Mike Tomlin stepping down to the Iranian protests going on and Trump upping the ante there and possibly inflaming China, who's a big trading partner of Iran. Kristi Noem going full Nazi. That's right out there. So yeah, not a shortage of topics, that's for sure.
And only Tuesday. It's crazy.
And it's only Tuesday. Yeah. How about that?
Well, I guess we might as well start. I'll put up some photo in Iran. I think there's a total of at least 646 people dead, which is pretty darn extreme.
Pretty darn extreme.
The irony that I find is that Trump's telling the Iranian people to keep protesting.
Well, apparently the internet's been shut down in the whole country for the public. So I don't know how anybody's getting Trump's messages. But yeah, for him to be telling people to protest against a tyrannical government is pretty ironic, but I don't think he understands irony.
And on top of that, he's telling them help is on the way, which basically just says, you're next. We're going to try this again. I know we had such an amazing tactical mission last time to take out their nuclear facilities. Complete eye roll on that one because you just are making shit up. And here we are, help on the way, as if we're looking for another fight. We're not even done with Venezuela, so to speak. And again, we find out that the first bombing on those fishing boats on September 2nd was basically a war crime because it came from an aircraft that was painted to hide the fact that it was a military jet, which apparently is a war crime under the name of, what did I say it was? Perfidy, which is essentially feigning civilian status and then attacking somebody.
Man.
I mean, and that, keep in mind, that's a war crime under international and U.S. military legal standards. So this isn't just, hey, a big FU to the world community, which we seem to do daily, but you're not even following your own rules now.
These guys don't follow any rules. They do exactly what they want to. And, Hegseth will do exactly what Trump tells him to do, which is the really frightening part. They've gotten rid of all the JAGs, the people, the military, judge advocate generals, the military people that were like, no, this is unlawful. We're not doing that. They got rid of them all. So
that was the first thing they did.
And the only thing I can think of, well, one of the only things is, what the fuck is in those Epstein files that we're going to go to these lengths? Holy shit.
Well, it's really bad when we've only seen 1% of what's out there, and the horror stories that you're hearing from the leaked notes that are coming out. Yeah, I think it's horrendous what was done, and the victims are still living with it daily. And the fact that Donnie Dementia is forgetting a lot of it, it's unfortunate because I think he should remember all of this, but I do believe he remembers enough to know that he would probably be in prison. It's my guess anyway.
A lot of people should be in prison. Yeah. And, just the fact that, now we're just down to murdering civilians, American citizens for no reason at all, threatening another war with Iran, which is, a more formidable opponent than Venezuela.
Yeah, slightly.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, and we're just continuing to push the agenda that these were terrible people. I saw that several of the attorneys in Minnesota have resigned. I guess the feds asked them to go after the widow of Miss Good, who was murdered. and they weren't going to go with that. That didn't seem like something that. Why? Why are you investigating her? I mean, I know that Trump says she's a professional agitator, this, that, and the other, but let's be honest. I mean, you're just trying to muddy the water, essentially.
Yeah, Trump says a lot of things. Doesn't mean any of them are true. But again, this is real authoritarian bullshit. And, from threatening Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, with criminal charges for what? For doing his job the way it's supposed to be done. I mean, it's across the board. This is a lawless regime. They're doing anything and everything that they want. Apparently, with the Supreme Court's blessing, a very either compliant or just impotent Congress. It's just this is
Well, they're compliant. The Democrats are also not willing to defund ICE. So that's a huge problem.
it has to be done. The public does not want this. I mean, the only people that are on board with this shit are the full-on maggots.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
they
the
hate
general
everybody.
public is not down for this, and the Democrats need to fucking step up. You need to grow a sack, regardless of whether you resist now or not. Politically, it's going to be ugly anyway. So you might as well just step up and deal with it rather than just let them roll over. Have we learned nothing from Nazi Germany? Apparently not.
Well, just to go back to your point about the chairman of the Fed, they're talking about overrun costs on the Federal Reserve building. So they're acting as if he's grifting on this project. And keep in mind, there was months ago when Trump was walking around with him and making up numbers, and the chairman Powell was pointing out that his numbers weren't correct. And now they're going to go back and try and put it on him as if he's taking money out of this project, which to me is just kind of insane. And again, projecting onto others what you do.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, Powell is an attorney by training. So, you're not dealing with a rube that's going to roll over. I'm sure he's, dotted his I's and crossed his T's all through this.
And he has the international community support because that is the standard for this. But
yeah, and just the fact that, Trump, Trump will obviously put in a sycophant if he gets his way. But people forget, or maybe they don't know, but Powell is still part of the Federal Reserve Board too. Even should he resign, he is still part of that board.
Well, they're going to do their best to get rid of him. He's been super strong-willed and not getting pushed out the door, which has been amazing, and sticking to what he does best, which is not listening to Trump, which is helpful for all of us, frankly.
And Trump appointed him in the first place.
I know, he didn't remember that. Forgot that part.
He forgets a lot of things.
And to your point, you said a lot of things, but I'm going to put this up because I thought this was an interesting thing. On the podium with Noem, she has down one of ours, all of yours. And I really at first didn't know exactly what that was all about. It has come out on Twitter, and maybe you could give a little bit of background on what that's all about.
Well, yeah, this is what the Nazis did in the occupied territories for any resistance. One, Nazi soldier or officer was killed, they would take 50 people and hang them. There was a case in Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic, where Reinhard Heydrich, the man that they called the man with the iron heart, he was Hitler's favorite. And this man was a cruel, just a beast of a man, and not in a good way. One of the architects of the Holocaust. And he was assassinated in Czechoslovakia. This man was so arrogant. He, they knew his route, to his work every day. He rode in an open convertible. And a couple of Czech resistance agents with backing from the British Secret Service assassinated him. So the Nazis, after killing a bunch of people involved, they went out, they mistakenly assumed that the assassins originated from a town called Lidis, or Lidis. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But they essentially murdered a bunch of people there, had all the men, women, and children shipped off to concentration camps, the one that they didn't kill. And the town was literally burned to the ground and buried. It ceased to exist. And this is what she is basically referring to. I mean, she is a full-on Nazi. She's a dangerous person. She's a hateful, murderous person. so un-American, and yet there it is, right there on the podium. I mean, this one officer is giving her the side eye. I don't know what he's thinking, but anybody with a moral compass has to realize what this is and where we are at. There's no doubt about it. These people are fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's really shocking that they're just, again, putting in front of us to, you either have that knowledge or you don't. She doesn't care if you think it's a Nazi thing or not. It all started when we were protecting the homeland. I mean, it was so close to the motherland at the time that was off-putting, and that's before we had cameras on every street light. It's been I'd say a slippery slope, but it's just been a downhill roll since 9/11, frankly.
Yeah, it really has, like a bobsled.
And we're willing to give up our civil liberties out of fear. I mean, this is what you get. I mean, Noem is empowered to do whatever she wants. This whole administration doesn't care.
They
KK
don't care.
Caroline doesn't care. She comes out and speaks horribly about victims, in this case, the Minnesota victim, and then says, the Democrats are protecting pedophiles and rapists and murderers. And I can't find anything more ironic than her speaking about protecting pedophiles when it's a whole cabinet of freaks, to be
I mean, who missed the latest deadline on releasing the rest of the Epstein files?
She did. Good reason. She's busy hunting brown people, I guess.
Well, now white people are on the list too, because the steps they've taken after murdering this woman are just appalling. And, you can see the video breakdowns on, anywhere on the socials. And their claim holds no water.
Well, and again, they manipulated some of the video where they showed the car rushing. We saw that video where it's noted where they're speeding it up. It's noted where there's cut-ins on some of this video, but they tried to make it like that car was zooming at the officer, which when you have one hand out with your camera, the other one pulling out your gun, you don't seem too fearful for your life.
Yeah, no, frankly, I'm shocked he didn't bother to take a selfie with her corpse before he went off to have lunch and coffee and do whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he just called her a fucking bitch. And of course, the feds helped him by going to his house right afterwards. There was apparently a caravan of military, well, let's just say government vehicles surrounding his house so he could get whatever he needed to get out of his house. And they whisked him away, not to be seen again.
I mean, I don't know how these people live with themselves.
Yeah, it's grotesque. And I guess he did his part because they want unrest. They want to go martial law. They want to put ICE in all these cities. And we're just going to have to decide how fearful you are, how brave you are, and what kind of country you want to live in, because it's the time is now. It's not, there's nothing really to wait for.
Yeah. I mean, they've really forced this, and
they're taking people's passports. They're taking people off global entry. They're doing that based on the fact that maybe you're a supporter of, transgender, or fill in whatever they don't like. And then you're not even being told until you show up in an airport or you try with your global entry. They're taking things like that away from you based on you being a domestic terrorist because you support certain groups.
Well, and anybody that says anything they don't like, they want to label a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
Any podcaster, any kind of writer, anybody. I mean, their whole thing, that law they're trying to pass, where any anti-capitalist, anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-family rhetoric is domestic terrorism. I mean, what the fuck?
Meanwhile, we had a whole department under Obama that looked into Christian national domestic terrorism, and that went away immediately in Trump's first term. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. It's all fine. This is just, it's appalling. And it's just, again, some days I wake up and I can't believe we are where we are.
It is pretty incredible. And then you just have, they came out with inflation numbers holding steady. Who can believe any of the numbers? They're using a couple factors out of 11. We don't do labor reports anymore. We don't do any of the reports that normally would come out to give us some kind of idea of how our economy looks. Trump just says, hey, inflation stayed steady. Meanwhile, grocery costs are still increasing. So he will tell you that most grocery costs are rising. though he says grocery prices and rent is going down. Believe what you want.
He does not live in the same world that the rest of us do. That's for sure. I mean, I paid almost $2 for a red pepper.
Dang. Yeah, and I paid a lot for gas this morning. It was certainly not $1.99 gas, but
Yeah, no, not in this planet, not in this plane of reality.
believe what you want. I know that down at Mar-a-Lago, they're having big caviar spreads and everything's pretty amazing and everybody's having a good time. But look around, it's not that fun. And I think it's really starting to weigh on people. And it's not just about your civil liberties. It's the total package. It's being lied to. It's not, it's not having any sense of community because, how are you going to gather together when we're all different colors when any one of us could be whisked away? I mean, it's just like,
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they've done such a good job of dividing all of us based on, your gender, your preferences, your color, your background, what language you speak, that, unless we can put that aside and just all stand together and realize that there's more that we agree on as far as, constitutional rights and the basic dignity of people. But we can't get that shit together, and we need to. We really need to, and it needs to happen fast.
yeah.
And I mean, the U.S. is the only industrialized country that doesn't have free and affordable health care for all. We don't have that. We don't believe in that. Well, because we've bought into that bullshit. Oh, you got to lift yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, I can guarantee you the billionaires, most of the billionaire families that run this country did not lift themselves up by their bootstraps.
Sure.
It's just a lie that they tell you to make you feel bad. Oh, well, if you're poor, it's your fault. Circumstances happen. And I don't know. It's just, there's no empathy. There's no humanity left in this country, at least among the people that are running the show these days and that profess to be Christians.
Yeah.
Who would, just as soon deport Christ if he showed up. It's horrifying. It really is. And it's, it's not a good feeling to wake up every day and see this shit.
Yeah, correct. And they just plant little seeds. There was a travel ban put on two countries for the World Cup. There was an exemption for players and for officials and immediate family, but any fans from Senegal or Ivory Coast, you're not welcome here. If you had a pre-existing visa, you could probably get in. I'd be fearful, but you could. But the rest of you, forget it. And that goes with Noem makes another notice that there's a new policy, barring congressional visits to ICE facilities without a week's advance notice.
So they can hide the bodies and, clean the bloodstains up. Again, this is just full on fascism. It's here. It's come. It's not about whether it's going to happen. It's here. That curtain has descended on us.
And you talked about care. Just quickly, the EPA is now going to stop considering lives saved when setting pollution limits and instead just calculate it only on the cost to businesses. This is like the same as a corporation being a person. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah. This whole country now is based on the morbidly wealthy becoming morbidly wealthier, whether it's individuals, families, or corporations. That's who they serve now.
Yeah.
And along the way, Trump's, going after anybody who's ever wronged him or offended him or just generally pissed him off, his little fragile ego.
Well, they're opening up Trump International Saudi Arabia. And I saw first of all, I saw the pictures of Eric and his wife in front of the big monument and everything. But I took the time to watch the minute plus advertisement that they put out there. And it's like the place you want to be. And it's about, getting away from your neighbors and, having the space. And then they're showing, it's a world championship golf course and, the Trump mansions on the property. And it was just so over the top gross. And it's like, I don't know who that is directed at other than his buddies who would be going there anyway. Like, why even putting out an ad? Because you and I aren't going there. First of all, I couldn't afford it. And second of all, I don't think I'd be welcomed.
Why would you? Who even wants to do that and be around that? It's just obscene, people. And I think part of it is, I think they take great joy in putting that out there for everybody to see. Look what we're doing. We're gorging on caviar. We've got women, lounging in giant champagne glasses. Oh, you lost your health care? Oh, you don't have any food benefits and you're trying to choose between paying your heating bill or eating? Huh, yeah, that's too bad. Maybe you should have a slice of cake. Too bad you're not here. Oh,
That's right.
and by the way, you know what? All this food left over, we're going to throw it in a dumpster and lock it so nobody can have it. It's so in your face.
It's pretty amazing, and that people are accepting of that's even crazier. And again, I guess the thought would be that I could be in that club, I could be one of those guys. I just don't see that for any of us because
It's not happening.
it's not an option. They actually don't want you in the club, so it's kind of like tell yourself that, but yeah, not really an option, and you're never going to get there anyway because it's rigged. The system is rigged.
Yeah, and not in our favor.
For sure. So I just thought that was kind of off-putting with so much that's going on, and the Trump family's still making money left and right, using the name, using the connections of Saudi Arabia. It's just nasty.
It is. It's just yeah, it's sickening.
So, excuse me. Not much has changed since Miss Good was gunned down, basically murdered, and sides have been taken. You either think that she's diabolical and she was a rebel rouser all morning and bothering ICE, or you watched the video and you saw where she was like, "Hey, I'm okay with you," type of thing. She
Yeah, I'm
waved
not
one
mad at you,
car
dude.
through. I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at you, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Waves one car through, which was ICE, and then the second one stops and they just come and attack her. Sure, her wife was documenting it and filming. You saw that. That's not necessarily attacking somebody, that you're documenting wrongs that are being committed, and then they went after her too. They want to look into prosecuting her for what? I mean, you have one guy that put 3 bullets in an unarmed driver's head, and then you have the grieving person, and that's who you want to go after. And you had other prosecutors, federal prosecutors, resign because Minnesota legal teams not being given access to the federal documents of all the stuff that went down, any evidence. They're not being given any of it. So people are resigning based on that. And we talked about this before. If you had all the good people in the military resign based on this, you'd have a problem. So I think it's important that they stand up for what they believe in, but we can't abandon, the legal process either with good people, because then you're going to have a bunch of dummies that don't know the law pushing them on us when they don't
Well,
even
you're
know.
going to get a bunch of the Halligans and just the sycophants that are going to go in there and do Trump's bidding.
Yeah, Halligan, who is still claiming to be, still using the title of, prosecutor in Jersey, even though they demanded that she stop doing that because she wasn't qualified to do it. I mean, it's just, you can't even make that stuff up.
I know, it's insane.
But I don't know. We did see the rumor that maybe she'll start a morning show on CBS,
Good morning, President Trump.
which would be hilarious. Good morning, President Trump.
Mhm.
He would like that because it's all about him all the time.
I know, but what would the Fox people think?
He's kind of down on them.
They'd have to make sure they got the time slots right so he could watch them back to back before his mid-morning nap.
Yeah, because he does like to phone in and give a lot of misinformation and be just a jackass to begin with. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Well, like I said, this is all becoming Groundhog Day where, hey, they're in another city. Hey, they're rounding up people. Hey, people are fighting back. People are being arrested, and you're being told everything's great. Measles that are 30 plus year high. We can't control anything as far as our food supply, but everything's great. Gas is under $2. Grocery prices are way down. Rent's practically a giveaway.
They're paying you to live there.
Yeah, exactly. So I just get to a point where, especially today, going through, it's like regurgitating the same stuff. And for the record, I feel like, again, most of where I'm looking is international press, but the local stuff, you're getting less and less. Nothing
yeah.
to see here.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing just what we're seeing. I mean, you think back to Woodward and Bernstein and the Watergate scandal, the Washington Post. That wouldn't happen today.
Gone. And as you've pointed out in the past, Cronkite basically saying that war in Vietnam was unwinnable, which had a major effect on U.S. citizens to push back against the war. CBS is gone. Now it's just the BS, as they say. That guy's barely qualified. And they put that Barry Weiss or whatever in charge, and it's been a nightmare. These people never admit when they're wrong or when they fail. So she'll probably be promoted to something else, but it's been pretty awful.
Yeah, and it's probably going to get worse. I hate to say it. It's sadly, I don't see any any end to this in sight.
No. So again, check your sources. Look for independent sources. Again, the foreign press can be good as well. And just don't trust what you hear, but do trust your eyes. I think it's pretty important.
Well, and I think most people can trust their grocery bill when they see like what they're paying and how they're, how far their paycheck is going when you consider, rent, groceries, your daily expenses of living, and see what's left over for you to actually, enjoy yourself a little bit. I think that takes precedent over anything that, some lame brain is spewing out.
Well, you certainly can't hide those facts. That's the tough part, because the bills keep coming and the money keeps going out. So you can't punish it if you lose your job, if you're in between jobs, if they're furloughing you, you're not replenishing, and it's even more noticeable. So I think some people are just trying to stay on the path, hoping that they're not next. But that's not a winning strategy, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're past the point where you can kind of keep your head down and just carry on. That veneer of normalcy is getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah. And you have said that before, like, there's college games, da, 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 da. It's the same thing. We're going through the NFL playoffs. We're going to lead up to a Super Bowl. Like, look over here. This is all great. This seems so normal. And then I see one of ours, all of yours. And it's a reminder that things aren't that normal. I see the head of
she would
ICE.
gladly see anybody who disagrees with her, any American citizen, any person murdered, taken away, locked up. I mean, again, this is the person who shot a dog.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why she is in that position. There's a reason why Hegseth is in that position. There's no pushback. There's no more moral compass. And you're going to do what you're told. And it's coming from the biggest sociopath that we have running the country. So that's
Stephen Miller.
Second biggest sociopath.
Yeah, it's horrifying. And listen, I'm not pointing fingers, because I'm like anybody else, man. You need that break. You need to sit back and maybe, watch the college playoffs, watch, the NFL playoff games, or just whatever, because it's too much. It's too much. So you need that. You need to embrace it, but you can't just paper over everything and gloss over and say, oh, well, everything's okay. The playoffs are still going on. Yeah. Take a break, check your mental health. But don't lose sight of what's happening, because we can't bury our heads.
I would agree. I mean, you went to that rally on Sunday, and people are getting out. But
it was a good turnout for a Sunday on a last minute notice.
Yeah. And all you really saw on Twitter was 4 cities, I think Chicago, New York, LA, and maybe Dallas, oddly enough. But it's the smaller communities. It's your local community. That's where this stuff starts. This is on the ground floor of understanding your neighbor and then wanting better for your whole community. And that's how you push this nonsense out of the way, or maybe get it behind us. I don't know. It's going to be a heck of a battle to do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a giant it's a giant boulder we're trying to roll straight up a hill, a very steep hill.
And I'm going to give you your distraction, because I don't want to keep dwelling on what is. We'll have time for that later. But this is from 2007, and you can see Mike T hired away. I think he had 1 year as their coordinator in Minnesota. Is that right? 1 year as a defensive coordinator. He was off the Dungy tree, so to speak, coming out of Tampa as their defensive backs coach.
He was, which you can kind of trace back to the Chuck Noll tree.
Very true. And then, Tomlin through the years, I mean, just a fixture with the Steelers, 19 seasons, which is pretty incredible. Obviously, he got them to the pinnacle. I mean, here he is as a champion. But it's been some time, and the numbers aren't super as to how the history's been for playoffs for Mike Tomlin. And I'm not saying I'm happy to see him go, because I'm not. But I do feel like, things do get stale. Things do have to be changed for everyone. I blame his coordinators. I really don't think he was the issue. You saw their offense last night was horrific.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the coach isn't, calling plays per se. He doesn't build the game plan. That's why you need good coordinators. And I don't feel like he was served very well by his coaching staff.
He really wasn't. I mean, Matt Canada was a disaster, just a complete debacle. And Arthur Smith, I mean, he's had his moments, but that offense it never decided what it was going to be. And for whatever reason, they simply refused to throw the ball to Freiermuth, the one tight end that was really good at getting open and making catches over the middle. And even last night after the game, there were, players in the Steeler locker room that were like, why the fuck aren't we throwing to Freiermuth? And Freiermuth, usually a reliable interview, really good with the press, was like, look, I can't talk tonight. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Visibly upset, but that guy's handled it like a pro all year. I mean, his catches have gone way down. His targets have gone way down. And
His
Jesus,
snaps.
they brought
His snaps.
And they brought I mean, the guys that they brought in, I mean, John O. Smith is terrible. Half the time that guy didn't even look like he knew what his assignment was. And when he was supposed to block, he didn't block, couldn't block, wouldn't block. I don't know. Just, it seems like Arthur Smith got fixated on these guys, his guys, and that was that. But it was a disaster. That offense never had any kind of identity, no kind of rhythm. And, the Omar Khan and his staff failed to address the wide receiver position. And again, I'm not going to second guess things. You traded away George Pickens, who turned out to be a second team All-Pro. Not a great fit there. I get it. You bring in DK Metcalf, who had a huge drop last night that some people say was a kind of a turning point.
Momentum changer for sure.
Mike Tomlin did a great job. I thought, especially in his earlier, I thought he had a lot of Chuck Noll in him, a guy that was very straight up. Wasn't all about the bullshit. He expected these guys to behave like men. He treated them like men. Never really panicked. I mean, there were countless times that team looked like they were in deep shit, and he always turned it around, which was great. But it just got to that point where they could not get over that last hurdle. Whether it was not great drafting, not always a great roster, but really weak on the coordinator side. So, it came as a bit of a shock, but not really, because a lot of people think that had that kick gone through the uprights last week, Harbaugh would be the guy keeping his job, and Tomlin would have been the guy out on the street, and according to all reports, he left on his own, and maybe he's had enough.
He did. He essentially resigned. He has 2 years left on his contract. So essentially he can sit out, but the Steelers still own his rights, much like with Sean Payton, where they ended up having to trade him to Denver for whatever. And I think Mike Tomlin did a service to the organization by doing this. He could have waited. He could have hemmed and hawed. He could have made it about him, but he didn't. There's 9 other job openings in the NFL currently. So I think the Steelers are probably at the top of that list of best jobs when you have such a patient ownership and you have the tradition that they have.
Yeah.
I think you'd feel pretty safe if you got hired there that you're not going to be fired in a year or two.
Yeah.
Chuck Noll was hired January 27th of 1969. Then they brought Cower in. It was January 21st of 1992. And then Tomlin arrived January 22nd of 07. So you can see the pattern here. It's January 13th right now. So would they be that quick to be able to find somebody or have it on your radar in 2 weeks? I don't know, but that's kind of the history. And I feel like Cower knew it was time and he left right after the season, basically. Noel certainly knew it was time. He went on with his life's work at that point. And I think Tomlin followed in suit the same way. It's a credit to him, that he understands that. He is forever a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's a legend of that team. That's not going to change.
A surefire Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
And ironically, and maybe fittingly, he leaves tied with Noel with 193 regular season victories. So he's at the top.
Yeah, pretty incredible. They talked about Brian Flores, Minnesota's defensive coordinator, who was a special assistant defensive person with the Steelers several years ago, as being a possibility to bring back. He knows the facility, obviously, he knows the organization. I don't know that he'd want to come back. Other people had mentioned Jesse Minter, Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator. He's 42 years old. That would be somebody. Flores is 44 years old. So you're looking at not as young as when Tomlin came in necessarily. Clint Kubiak. I know you know his dad, quarterback Kubiak.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He
Gary
was the
Kubiak.
he's the offensive coordinator for Seattle, 38 years old. And I think the last person they mentioned, and please don't be true, Arthur Smith.
Ooh, yeah, no, please no. Although at least he would have to bring in a different offensive coordinator.
It doesn't
You would
matter.
hope.
He
Yeah.
clearly doesn't understand the Steeler formula. They talk about people like Mike McCarthy from Greenfield, real Pittsburgher. He's 62. I don't know. And the last person would be Chris Shula. He's the defensive coordinator with the Rams. And he's got some ties to the Steelers. I'm not sure how. We only know Don Shula, but yeah, I don't know what that would be. But
I don't know. And I heard somebody also mention the Texans defensive coordinator, which would be really interesting.
which is who?
I forget the name. I'm sorry to say.
Because they said Vance Joseph too, Denver's coordinator, and he was a head coach.
Yeah,
Arizona, where was he a head coach?
I think he was in Arizona,
And he was fired after 2 years.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends which direction you want to go in. Do you want to go offensive? Do you want to go defense? I mean, the last three in our lifetimes that they've hired, Noel, Cowher, and Tomlin were all defensive coordinators. So that seems to be, the Steeler way, and that's fine. But you need an offensive coordinator, someone to run the modern day offense. I mean, just watching the playoff games last weekend, dude, those offenses they can all move the ball at will. I mean, they scheme guys open, and it's entertaining to watch. And then you watch the Steeler offense, and it's like, oh my God, what is this?
Super
It's like a Model
painful.
T putting along on the freeway.
It's so true. And maybe that would be something a little bit different. The standards set with defense, stop the run, get after the quarterback. I'm not saying you can't change things, but the offensive game has changed. Those Steeler teams of us growing up, you had Franco running the ball first 2 years. Then the defenses weren't allowed to touch receivers, and they really were geared to offense. And then you were fortunate enough to see the Bradshaw, Swan, and Stallworth show where they could get the ball downfield.
Mhm.
Now we're just stuck in the middle. And I like to compare it to how important these coordinators are. The Eagles, they have arguably the best running back in football in Barkley. They've got two great receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. They have an amazing tight end in Goddard. Their offensive coordinator was fired. They're also out of the playoffs, and their offensive coordinator was fired.
I'm surprised you made it through the season. I mean, they had trouble all year long with the offense. They couldn't get on the same page.
And they've had 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 years. So they won a Super Bowl. They lost a Super Bowl. I'm just saying, your job as a coach is to put these guys in a position to succeed. Everybody has talent in this league. The Steelers have talent. They have some good young talent. But if you're just asking them to blindly do this, that, and the other without having any kind of plan, you're never going to win in this league.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's just
And
not going to happen.
I felt like that's kind of where they were at. Are they going to come out and pound Warren last night when they had the opportunity, maybe a softer middle on that number one defense of the Texans? Didn't really do that. They went back to their standard stuff, that screen pass that everybody hates and knows it's coming. They played to Jono Smith, which everybody's seen since when he was in Tennessee, for God's sake. Like, there's plenty of film on this. We know he's a 1 or 2 trick pony. Like, you're just not doing anything different. And this whole league is about innovation and scheming guys open and disguising what you do. He wasn't doing any of it.
Yeah, no, half the time it looked like he didn't even know where he was supposed to be or what he was supposed to be doing. And when he was supposed to block, he didn't seem to want to.
Yeah, and it's the offense in general. You know, the whole key to this league is a quarterback.
Which they
Tomlin
don't have.
again. Tomlin did them a favor. There was debate about Aaron Rodgers coming back. I mean, are we going to celebrate his 43rd birthday? I mean, the comment was made that it looked like somebody's dad back there getting pounded.
It looked
It
like
was hard to watch.
hands.
No mobility. He just, great quarterback in his day. But is that what you're going to count on? You're going to like squeak out one more year with this guy? And again, a service to Tomlin. I feel like he that takes that off the table. He's not coming back. Mike T's not there. That ain't happening. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mike T. On top of everything you've done for this organization, but little stuff like that. He didn't drag it out. Guys will know their role. They have to find a quarterback. This whole league is about quarterbacks. Imagine them going up into New England and going against May. Again, is a guy that can play.
You saw the beating that Herbert took the other night. I mean, Aaron Rodgers may not have survived that game.
You're right.
He might have been a permanent piece of that turf.
And then move out to Denver. You're looking at Bo Nix. I mean, these are all teams that are driven by quarterback. And the Eagles have a pretty good quarterback themselves. But again, you need to be able to, scheme and game plan for every week, man. Every week.
Yeah. Well, you definitely need guys to buy in. And, it seemed like even with the Steelers, there were a couple of problem guys that still couldn't get their shit right. I mean, Rodgers is known for being very detail oriented. And, frankly, that's probably what this offense needed. And there were some guys that just seemingly couldn't get on board with that, like Roman Wilson, Jonnu Smith. I mean, anytime the quarterback's in the middle of his cadence and he stops to ask you what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, you're doing
when you're
something
going in
right.
motion. That's kind of a sign.
Well, and 4 weeks ago, I mentioned about, hey, maybe guys need a little bit more film study or should show up at the film study meetings and stuff. So I think there is some issues within that building. I do think they have a great core. Everybody talks about TJ Watt being a step slower, this, that, and the other. But he's a gamer, and he's in that mold if he's going to get after it. Guys like Hayward, they have some pieces. The Harmon, the number one pick from this year. I mean, he's going to be a good player, knock on wood. But you have to get that culture back. All those teams, when you talk to Ike Taylor and the James Farrier, I mean, they were all about ball.
Mm-hmm.
You like to tell the story of, the night before the Super Bowl, those guys were, playing cards.
Playing Boo-Ray all night.
Exactly.
Not a great idea, but fortunately it worked out okay.
But that's what they did. I mean, that camaraderie is important. You can't just come in, punch a clock, and leave. Maybe not to the point of Bear where you're like, put some clothes on and go home.
Yeah.
But there is a culture in that locker room, and it's important. And I think early on, Rodgers bought into that. He was playing, dominoes with the guys and Boo-Ray and cards and showing up. And that part's important, but I don't think everybody bought in, and I think it certainly affected the course of their path this season for sure.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. So it's going to be interesting, and sometimes you just need a change, And I think Tomlin probably needed a change too. It would have been really rough to go through a whole offseason now, listening to all the second guessing again. I mean, I don't care how thick-skinned you are. We're all human, and to hear your home stadium chanting for you to be fired. That can't be a pleasant thing.
Well, the important thing is he knows the city. He understands the reactionariness of those fans because they do care so much and live and die with his team that I don't think he's one to take it super personally. But again, the numbers, the playoff numbers, the being outscored in the first quarter in playoffs, those things are losing 5 straight playoff games by double digits. I love Mike T, but these are things that generally would get somebody fired. So I'm glad he walked away on his terms, and that he can kind of, get himself right and see what's next for him because, he's going to be somewhere in football.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And, I'm sure he'll do well wherever he goes. And hopefully, the Steelers will make the right hire. It's kind of a crapshoot. You wonder because Art II has never had to hire a head coach. Well,
hopefully he's leaning on the next heir apparent to help him out because I think it's kind of he's soft. He's just not out of the same cloth as Dan Rooney.
Yeah. And, and if you recall, Mike Tomlin was kind of a late hire because, they were all settled in. Oh, it's going to be Whisenhunt. It's going to be Grimm. And out of nowhere, it was Mike Tomlin who came in and just really impressed them. And
Grimm really thought he had it. That was the sad part.
yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. But he did okay. Went off to Arizona and got himself a number 2 ring, second place ring.
And he's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, I believe so with the Hogs.
Yeah, Pitt guy too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know that he would have been a great head coach, but Tomlin was, and they made the right choice. So hopefully they can do that again. I guess time will tell, but yeah, kind of an earth-shattering shakeup in Pittsburgh. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. So that was your break from all the other nonsense, Billy. I hope you enjoyed it.
Needed that.
Well, I'm going to let you go because we got more to get through today, but none of this new stuff. Keep your mind clean and clear, and let me know if you hear anything about the Steelers.
Okay, will do.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time again today. Sorry I was a little late today.
Good job.
But, we'll get back at it in a few days.
All right, sounds good.
All right, buddy. I'll talk at you later.
Buddy.
All right. Have a good day.